Hello and welcome back to the Mama and Manse podcast. If this is your first time joining me, I'm so happy to have you, and if you are a returning friend, I'm so glad to have you back again. This week I will be going over what little knitting I have and kind of flying by the seat of my pants because I haven't had time to do show notes beforehand, and basically I am wanting to kind of declare my goals for our Stash Dash, which is hosted by the Knit Girls. So that's kind of the content that will be in this video this week. If you would like to keep in touch, there is a Ravelry group where you can ask questions, introduce yourself. That's where most of the contest stuff is. There's not a new one right now. There is a giant feed along over there. It's the Mom and Manse podcast. You can find me on Ravelry as Mom and Manse, also on Instagram and my Gmail account as well. I think that's all the administrative stuff. I'm having a hard time remembering what to do. I don't have a ton of knitting to show you. I can't remember exactly when I podcasted last, but I have had at least 2 days where I didn't get to knit at all, and at least 2 other days where I knitted very little. And there's been a few days that even when I've gotten a little bit more knitting time, it's been mostly distracted knitting time, and so it's been very slim. Even something that I thought that I had worked on since the last podcast, I pulled it out today and I apparently hadn't. So I am going to go ahead and show you that, even though it's not going to be that much progress, because that's real life. And sometimes it seems like podcasters are like superheroes that get out an entire sweater in like a week, and sometimes that is just not the case. So I'm sharing that just so people can feel good about themselves and that they got more knitting done than me. I have no faux. I did finish a couple of blanket squares, but I'm not going to show those until I finish the whole month. I did the blanket squares out of the row 1 yarns that I get monthly, and so when I finish the next block, it'll be that whole month's from the same dyer, and so I'll show those all at once so I can actually tell you the colorways, because I think I always forget to say that. But jumping right in there, something that I thought that I would have done this week were my socks. They are the Vagary socks by Knitting Expat. They were the May. I'm just checking to make sure that that is what the name of the pattern is. Yes. These are out of Chili Knits yarns. And when I showed them to you last, I had just put in the hills. So I think I did 1 repeat, maybe 2. Isaiah, we're podcasting. Sorry, it's like quiet time, but the 8-year-old is talking about his video games, and I'm not sure if that will show up in the thing. But yeah, I'm just a little bit past about 1 inch maybe. Didn't get much done at all. It's been extremely hot. It's been in the high 90s every day. I was going to look up what that was in Celsius, because whenever somebody's like, oh, it's still warm, it was 28 degrees today, I'm always like, that's below freezing. I was educated in America, so I don't know Celsius at all. But yeah, it's been 95 and above for the whole last week. So I did a little bit on my Weekender by Andrea Mallory. Trying to remember which is front and back. This is the front. So the last time that I showed this to you, I had not joined the back, or I had not finished the back actually. So here's the top of the back, and I do have it bound off. At the top it has kind of a like visible seam thing going on both the shoulders. I did go ahead and try this on. This yarn is really stretchy, and so I was kind of like wondering how it was going to work out. This front part touches my neck quite a bit, as you can see from my t-shirt, I cut the necks out of my t-shirts because I cannot stand stuff touching my neck. I'm hoping, I have not blocked it or done the sleeves at all. I'm hoping that blocking it will kind of stretch that down and make it not like rub. It's like right across there where that big wrinkle is. So that's my weekender. And I had forgotten last time to tell you what it is. It's the Barocco Voyage. And I don't think there's a colorway. It's just a color number, but it is a discontinued yarn, but I just thought that I would share. It's been a really stretchy yarn, so it's been kind of different to knit with. As far as like gauge and all that stuff, it just is a little bit different. So something that I haven't shown you in a while is my morning mist. And it is by Anne Claire. It has this nice lace detail on the back. And I did work on it some. Not very much. So just from this stitch marker up is all I've done. Oh, there's a whole bunch of stitches that are off. So I didn't measure this. I have to go to like 16 inches, I think. So I've got quite a bit left to do. I don't have any summer tops other than like ratty t-shirts, kind of like this. So I'm really wanting to get this stuff done, but I've had a hard time with the non-stretchy cottony yarns lately. Here's my lace panel on the back. There's lots of yarn ends hanging from it. Looks kind of trashy. I am knitting this on my Signatures US 4 3.5 millimeters, and I do enjoy those. They're going well with this yarn. I was having a little bit of trouble at a little while ago with the stitches. I don't know. It's like the stitches wouldn't stretch the needle, so I was catching. I don't know what the deal was, but it's been a little bit better, and I put about 1.5 inches on it. And then last, I have my Dropping Like It's Hot by Cozy Up Designs, and Violet has been helping me with this pattern. That's why it's like all wadded up. It's not because I got mad at the pattern and like threw it across the room or anything. It is in Creek Garden Crafts 100% Pima cotton sock, and I'm knitting this on US 3s 3.25 millimeters. The last time that I showed it to you, I think I was at this kind of the bigger color spot right there. So I've gone up to here, and then I have another one of those bigger color lines. I think another one of these main color lace sections, and then it kind of switches where the contrast color will be the one I'm doing the lace in, and garter bumps in this main color teal. But it is going nicely, and I'm trying to finish it up for their knit along. But here it is so far. And I'm interested to see what this does when it blocks, because it's cotton. I haven't really made a shawl out of cotton before. But like, you know, just the cast on, how it kind of makes like the bump up. I'm hoping it like kind of stretches out and makes it a little straighter, so it, I don't know, so it looks different. But with it being cotton, I don't know how like that really works so much. But that is going. I'm almost, I guess I have 2 sections before, or 2 little pieces before I'm on the last section, when everything kind of switches. Where the color that's showing the most will be the contrast color. And I'm looking forward to that because I'm really loving this color. Okay, and that is literally all the knitting I got done. Yeah. So the Saturday after I podcasted, I went to a dye workshop where you go in and dye your own yarn. That's another thing I meant to grab out. Anyways, Susie White has a cowl pattern that is called Internet, and when I'm knitting on it I will show you the pattern because I meant to actually grab it today. But it's a cowl that has buttons, so you can button it up so that it kind of is more cozy and warm, or you can have it unbuttoned and it has, you know, just a nice kind of opening so that it'll sit on your shoulder a little bit better, and the buttons are just a pretty detail. So I went to the dye day at Knit Paper Scissors, and the dyer that was it was hosted by the yarn shop Knit Paper Scissors in Lincoln, Nebraska, and then the dyer was Lazy Bee Yarn that was helping us with it. And so here is the yarn that I dyed to make. I went planning to make yarn for the Internet. I knew that I wanted to have purple and mossy green speckles on a gray base. So this is what I ended up making. It has little purple speckles on the gray, and then the green. The green kind of varies a little bit because I did put it on as a liquid instead of like shaking it on like I did the purple. So in some places it seems a little less mossy green, but I think that that will be a fun thing. And also the premise behind Susie's design was how knitting friends are knitted together, and she's my friend, and I went to this dye day and made new friends, and just the whole community of thing. You know, I found that yarn store because another friend told me about it, and I've just really enjoyed it. So that was one thing that I did at the dye day. They also had some sock blanks that you could do, and so I did that, of course, in a sparkle. And I made it kind of a gradient with the plan of snipping it in the middle of this green. And so one will go, so this is the start. As you can see, it's unraveling a little bit. So one sock, I'll do them toe up. One sock will go from the purple through the teal to the green. And then when I snip it in half, the other one will go from the green through the blue to the purple. So they'll be opposites. But that was you can see a lot of that sparkle from the light coming in. But that's my first attempt at dyeing. I really thought that going to the workshop and just kind of playing around and stuff would get rid of that desire to make or to dye more. It did not. It actually made it worse. But I'm just really loving looking at this. It's pretty. Yeah, it made it worse. I thought it would be like kind of one of those things where you scratch and itch and then it doesn't itch anymore, but it's maybe more like poison ivy where it keeps itching and scratching it just makes it worse. Not that dyeing is like poison ivy, but anyways. So I had a ton of fun at that, and I'm really gonna love the yarn. I am really excited about knitting something that I create with something that I created. So it just adds that extra level of creativity to it. So I'm very excited about that. I did pick up a few things over the last couple of weeks while I was at Knit Paper Scissors. I grabbed a couple of these Regia Perfect Kids colors. This one's for Isaiah and this one's for Isaac. And they'll have little socks. I wasn't in love with any of the more girly colors. My girls very much like girl colors, so while we are always saying that colors are for everyone, the girl colors were more subdued. My girls actually prefer more neon-y colors, very bright colors, and they are kind of not really pastel, but not as bright as I thought they would. So I just got stuff for the boys. I also picked up my first peekaboo bag. This is by Daisy Girl and Company, and I got it from Knit Paper Scissors again. And I haven't put anything in it yet because I wanted to show it first. But here's the lovely fabric. And it's a decently sized thing. I kind of made the mistake of getting a lot of littler bags when I pretty much need a bigger bag. It's kind of got a little bit of a square bottom. Because even when I'm doing socks, I'm normally doing 2 at a time, and so it just is kind of shoving your needles in there. And so there's that. I also went to my other local yarn shop, this one in Omaha, Imagine It, and I got the supplies for my class that I'm teaching in July at Synod School, and I also picked up a pair of size 1 flexi flips. I haven't tried them yet. I just got them out of the bag to show to you. But I am going to try that maybe on one of the kids' socks, because I don't know, I don't think I'm going to do those 2 at a time. Just the smaller amount of stitches seems like it would, the yarn management, it seems like it would be kind of more management than actual knitting because of the smaller size. And now that I'm thinking about it, I actually got my hedgehog club, so I'm going to pause and stop and grab that before I continue. Okay, and I'm back, joined by a little someone. Do you see yourself? Oh, looky there. Yeah. Do you see that baby? Yeah. So here is a picture of the internet cowl that I'm going to do with this yarn. Yeah. You want to go have a bottle? All right.
Baby.
There you go. Oh. What are you doing? Okay, so that's the one that I didn't have to show you earlier. Would you stop? Okay, so the 2 clubs that I am in came this week. So the first one is Hedgehog, and this was my DK color. It's called Reef, which I think is absolutely a perfect name for it. And then the 2 sock yarns. This one is, I'm not really sure what that says. I feel like it says Day Tripper or Day Topper. I'm not sure which, but this was the May colorway in the sock club. And this one was sitting pretty. You get 2 skeins in the sock club, so that's what these 2 were. And then the singles are Topsy Turvy, which really reminds me of tulips. And Amethyst Sky. This is my favorite one. And the sign-ups for the Hedgehog Clubs were last week, and we didn't do it, and I'm kind of sad, but I do have a lot to get knit up. Though I have been knitting a lot of the newer stuff. The other club that came is the Knitted Wit Her Story. club. So each month they send you something that's based, a yarn that's based on a woman of history. This is my second month of it. It's a gift from my husband, and this is the second month, but I'm not sure how to pronounce the woman's name. I want to say Francois Bar Sanusi, a French woman. But she was a scientist who discovered the HIV, I want to say HIV virus, but the V is already the virus. So, discovered the virus that causes AIDS. So, this is the colorway that they made to go with her. And I'm trying to remember what it was inspired by. The colorway was inspired by the 1980s, which was when she was really making her big discoveries, and the name of it is Prendre Liqueur, which means take heart. So that's been kind of a fun little surprise each month. Okay, so the next thing that I was going to talk about is my friend Ashley is a very new knitter. I taught her how to knit back in March, and she's just been completely taking off with it and wanted to make a pretty shawl. So off the top of my head, I was like, you know, I've picked what I think would be a good first shawl from Emma, for Emma to do when she finishes her worsted weight hat. We're kind of moving down the yarn scale to fingering weight for her to do a shawl. It's a Harry Potter themed. If you've watched any of the videos with her in it, then you know that she's obsessed. So Ashley asked if I knew of any shawl patterns that would be good for her, that would be easy but beautiful. And other than the one that I had kind of suggested for Emma, I was like, you know, there's this other one that I think you would really enjoy. There's some new techniques for her, but nothing that's hard. So I suggested the Bindi Arrow. Here's trying to show a picture of it without it. The Bindi Arrow is by Charlotte Bory. Is that how you, yeah. Charlotte Bory. And it does have some short rows in the shaping in this area, but the reason that I picked it was because I think that Ashley would like the stripes. The short rows use German short rows, which I think are the absolute easiest and are basically almost like not doing short rows. And the other thing is that I bought yarn for this shawl on vacation. I think, was it just last year or was it 2 years ago? I can't remember. I think it was this year. So I bought what was actually my very first hedgehog. I got this little speckle and the dark. I can look at the colorways for you. This is, the dark is graphite, and the light is zephyr. I was thinking there was a zephyr, but I couldn't remember which one it was. And it's just pink, blue, and yellow mostly, but I think there's maybe just the purple ones are where it looks pink, or the pink blue touched or something. But it's very lightly speckled, has a little bit of neon. This is my first purchase that actually had a little bit of neon. I didn't used to go for neons, but as you have seen in recent times, and even today with the crazy neon socks that I made, I really like those. My oldest daughter really was into neons, and I think it just kind of rubbed off on me eventually. the reason I suggested this one for her as well, I was like, if we knit it together and you get stuck on something, then I could just FaceTime you and knit it with you, basically. And I felt like that would be the easiest way to help her. You know, we live, I don't even know how many miles apart it is, but it's like 8 hours or something like that, 7 maybe. I felt like that would be a way to get her to try a few new techniques, have a nice shawl that she would really enjoy. It's big but not too big. It also starts at a small point. I don't actually know which side the start is, but it starts small and ends small, so there's not a huge cast on or cast off. And those were all things that I really thought would be good for her first shawl. So we're going to do that and knit along together. And once she finishes a section, then I will finish that section so that I kind of stay in pace with her. It's really blowing out. It's much more subdued than I remember it being when I bought it. Actually, I just pulled it out when I was looking for my hedgehog from this month, and I thought it was more speckly than it is. But yeah, so that's kind of something I have coming up that I'm going to do, and I think that is all of that type of stuff. So another reason that I wanted to go ahead and podcast today, even though I didn't have very much done, is that Stash Dash, which is hosted by the Knit Girls with 3 L's. Excuse me. Started on Friday, and so I am challenging myself to 10,000. I did not look up to see what I did last year. I think it was 5, and I barely squeaked it out. Like, barely. So I'm declaring to you, my friends, that I want to get 10,000 meters done. I have quite a bit of stuff that is in various stages of needing to be finished. I have at least one baby blanket that could probably be finished within a week if I just did it. I have several shawls going on. Once the fading point is done, that's going to be a lot. I don't know how much of the 5 skeins I'll end up using, but even using over half of 5 skeins is going to be quite a significant amount. I'm not really sure that the Weekender will give me a ton, but I have another shawl that you saw a long time ago that needs to be finished. I have a lot of things that could be finished, kind of current whips as well as older stuff that's been languishing since like last summer. And so I think that because I have several of those, I should be able to. If this week was any indication, then maybe I won't. I don't know, but I'm hoping. That's the goal that I'm setting for myself. If you're participating in Stash Dash, let me know. It's just a fun, basically it's a contest against yourself to see how much you can knit. It goes from May 25th, which was last Friday, until August 27th, which I looked is a Monday. Yeah, so I will kind of keep a tally of that and maybe try to do like a Friday-ish podcast. I haven't really found a day that's working great for podcasting now that the kids are out of school. But if that's all the knitting content, I was just going to do a little bit of life in the Manse. So, yeah. I got my garden in. That was one day that I didn't get any knitting done. It was winter like the week before we went to Dubuque, and then when we came back it was summer, and so we had lots that we needed to just get done and getting vegetables in, and it was kind of late, but it's doing pretty well. So that's in, and the weeds are growing like crazy as usual. Violet's birthday was another day I did not get any knitting done. She's 1 now. She's also extremely cranky. I don't know what's going on with her. I don't know if she has teeth coming in or is going through a growth spurt, because she's been eating a lot, which hasn't helped to get her off the bottles. Yeah, it's just been kind of a crazy, it seems like every time we try to run errands, it ends up taking hours longer, and so I've had very little knitting time. And but I'm sure that all of you can relate to that. I'm kind of disappointed, and I know that I feel better when I've had more knitting time, but it will be okay. So let's see. Garden, birthday, baseball started, t-ball starts on Tuesday, the pool opened. We went to the pool yesterday, and my redheaded children, despite the fact that we put on sunscreen right before leaving and it was enough time for it to soak in, and put it on the first break, she still got burned. The baby did not, though, so that's good. We went to a cookout last night. Where do you think you're going? Someone just entered the podcast room. I don't know if you can hear her knees and her hands slapping against the floor. We went to a cookout last night, and Isaac had his first tick of the season today, which was lovely and gross. That's the tripod you're crawling around. Seriously, come here. Hey, stop crawling into the podcast, into the tripod. There you are. Yeah, hi. Should we show them your cake smash video? Yeah, would that be fun? Do you see all the yarn? You see all the yarn in there? Yeah? Yeah. Okay, I think that's pretty much the updates. It's been really hot. Garden, birthday, ball, all that stuff. So the last thing that I have to talk about is our drawing for the LYS Day yarn from Lofty Loops. And I had just asked people to go over to the Ravelry group and comment what they would, to suggest what pattern would look good in this yarn or any of the Lofty Loops yarns, because I have several in my little storage cabinet. They're actually like right behind my head, where you see lots of this kind of color is a lot of it. So we had a few entries in there, and I number generated that to find the winner, and the winner was actually perhaps my husband's biggest fan, Vicky Shaw from Canada. She's V Shaw on Ravelry. Ta-da! So Vicky, if you could get a hold of me, I will get you your Lofty Loops yarn on its way from my LYS and my local yarn dyer to you all the way in Canada. So congratulations for that. I think that's about it. If anybody else wants to jump in on the giant feet along, you will probably be doing better than I am. One person has put a finished object in there. I have not touched mine since the last time that I showed them to you. So Mike also has not gotten a pedicure, so it is actually a-okay that I have not finished his socks. I bought him some commercial socks for Christmas, and he's worn through all of them, so it actually does not encourage me to make him giant, also ugly socks. So, yeah. Ooh, I'm blowing out now. I think your dark hair is messing me up. Yeah? Yeah? Do you want to say bye? Bye. Okay, I think that's it. I'm hoping, because it's already Sunday, maybe trying for a Friday podcast, and then trying to maybe do Fridays, so it's like week 1 of Stash Dash, week 2, yada yada, all this summer. But we will see how that works out, because so far we've not been able to get any good routines, and it's just been kind of nuts around here. Plus, when you have a really, really grouchy baby, Of course, she looks charming and cute and sweet right now, so she doesn't, it makes it seem like I'm lying, but I am not. Anyways, you can subscribe and like if you enjoyed the show. Find me on Instagram as Mom and a Manse. Are you going somewhere? It's also my email and the name of the Ravelry group. And I will talk to you next week. Happy knitting!